Good evening, everybody. This is Davey Jones, live from our Bucyrus Pizza Hut with Coach's Corner West. And we've got Bucyrus, Winford, and Buckeye Central we'll be talking to tonight. It's football from Bucyrus and Winford. We're going to volleyball with the district champ or sectional champs with the Buckeye Central Lady Bucks, and we'll be talking to them as they head to the districts beginning tomorrow. We'll give you details on that in the next segments of the show. Our show brought to you in part tonight by Doug Luthold and Advanced Fiber Technology. Coach Tim Plumley and everybody at Mohegan Sports Medicine and Rehabilitation. Matt Studer, Spitzer Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Kia, just a mile east of the Richland Mall. Rob Lust, Edgefield Animal Clinic in Marion. Matt Ramsey, John Ziegler, Drew Young, Frank Heinlein, and everybody at Bucyrus Blades, serving worldwide markets from Bucyrus since 1951. And Roger Brown at Winks Lock and Safe, South Poplar at West Warren Street, Bucyrus. Heck of a football game on Friday night on WQEL. We did a lot of football games, Coach. That game probably was the most exciting, fun football game to listen. Probably more fun and exciting to be there.
Oh, it was a very exciting game, and obviously, the team that wins feels really good coming off the field after that game, and on the other side, it's probably a heartbreaker.
It was a heartbreaker, but I read the article that was in Crawford County Now, and certainly the Upper Sandusky coach appreciated the excitement of that particular ball game, saying, "Hey, look, it was a great game to be involved with. I'd like to have won it, but it was a good game."
It was 100%. Coach Hall's a great guy as well, so it was a remarkable game, and we kind of jumped out, took a little lead, and
17-7 in the third quarter.
Yeah, and they have a very good offense, explosive. Their quarterback's really good. They have a couple good receivers, and they started moving the ball. And
I kind of got a little bit worried. If you were a Bucyrus fan, I'm not sure they were biting their fingernails.
Yeah, but that's part of the game. You got to play to the last play, and our kids did, and it took to the next to last play where the game was still in doubt. But I'm proud of our guys for maintaining their composure and keep playing. It could have been easy to let it slide away.
Dan Messerschmidt that wrote the article in Crawford County Now. Dan's really good with his journalism stuff,
Sure.
He does. They weathered the furious Upper Sandusky fourth quarter to hold on for a 24-21 N10 victory. And in that ball game, Upper Sandusky scores. You go 3 and out. What are you thinking then, Coach?
Well, at that point, that they had moved it well in the second half. In the first half, we contained them pretty well. They have a great offense. I knew it was going to be tough.
Well, they moved the ball right down there. I wasn't sure. Get a quick look. Was that John Elway down there?
No, he's a good. Their quarterback's a good player. And they made some plays, and he was putting the ball on the money. And fortunately, we made the last play that needed to be made.
We'll talk about that in a second. Let's give Brady Jackson some love here. Brady Jackson had one heck of a football game.
He sure did.
Going into the game, was he projected as being the primary receiver that night, or?
I think most games going into our ex receiver, which is the one that we single up a lot, has more opportunities to catch the ball than the other guys. So, he and Mike Wise both are put in that position. So, I'd say going in. But, as we've talked before, we have a lot of other guys.
We'll talk about that. I got them listed.
That have caught many passes this year and are good receivers. So,
Brady Jackson, he had a big player of the game. 7 receptions, 185 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did, probably a half season in one night.
He did. He had a great game. He got loose on a couple, and then a couple other long balls. He made a nice catch in traffic and came down with it. Malachi threw the ball real well. Our protection was good, and it all has to work together for it to happen.
Jackson was pretty modest after the game. He gave a lot of credit to Upper Sandusky. He was doing a great job. He showed a lot of love to his quarterback. Did you read the article? Yeah, okay, you need to get him to autograph it for you. He showed a lot of love to his quarterback, and he showed a lot of love to his head coach.
Grady's a great kid, and we're fortunate he came out this year. He's golfed the previous 3 years, and he still did this year. But we and the kids had tried to get him out, and he came out, and I think he enjoyed the season. We definitely enjoyed having him part of the team.
Albert Sandusky rushed to the finish fourth quarter, 59-yard, 5-play, culminating in a 2-yard touchdown rush with 2:17 to go, and that makes the score 24-21. Bucyrus 3 and out, up against the ball back with just a little over a minute to go, and boy, they moved the ball. Like I said, I was wondering if John Elway was back there.
Well, I tell you what, a couple of the throws were right on our sideline, and we had pretty good coverage, and he just made a heck of a throw.
Thread the needle.
Thread the needle, and if a quarterback's going to do that, there's not a whole lot you can do. If he can put the ball right where it needs to be. And so give is it Holman?
Holman, yeah. Holman.
Give that kid a lot of credit. He was really accurate, and he made the plays down the stretch there. But like I said, the last one that needed to be made, we stepped up.
Randy Banks with the interception right on the goal line, right?
Yes, right on
I don't know if anybody talked to Randy. Was he anticipating that? Did he anticipate, okay, they're coming my way, and I got to just step up?
Yeah, I think so. The number 13 was uppers. He's caught the most balls. I mean, they had 3 or 4 guys with a lot of receptions, but he's their best receiver in that situation. They singled him up on the right side, and about 3 or 4 plays earlier, we had moved Randy out to guard him because we kind of felt like that's where.
Didn't Randy have a pass interference call really just before that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
I think he was pretty upset about it. At least the guys get raised.
Yeah, he was, and then the Randy was over top the route, and then he cut underneath it and got the pick.
All right, Brian Pfeiffer, your offensive lineman linebacker, was quoted again in Crawford County now, Dan Messerschmidt. Amazing feeling, takes away some of the pain and disappointment from you guys were expecting more.
Sure. We were expecting to have more success this year, but that's got to go out and do it, and it's that the other team competes with you, and it does. I mean, it really feels good to end the season on a high note.
After the game was over, nobody wanted to leave the field.
No, there were a lot of people out on the field.
Might be a few out there right now.
Yep. Like week 10, that happens a lot. Anyhow, there's some kids and parents that are the last time they'll be on the field, and that's special, but it's also hard to leave sometimes.
All right. Scoring. Ethan Huff was here last week. We talked about field goals. He hadn't had any. I thought he hit the first one from the press box. He had the distance. It just
as far as a kick, as far as a hold and the kick goes, the first one was prettier, but it was just a little bit wide right. But the second one's the one that made it through the
line drive.
Upright. Yes, through the uprights.
Yeah. And then Brady Jackson with the 50-yard touchdown pass. That was pretty.
Oh yes. Yeah, it was a good route and a great ball, and you're correct. That was a pretty play.
And then Jackson with a 5-yard touchdown pass in the third.
We had ran the ball. That was a great drive. In retrospect, it wasn't really part of the process, but we'd had an 8 or 9 minute drive there and kept the ball away from them in the third quarter, and that was a boot play that Malachi put down right in the corner, and Brady went down and got it. And I think that the fact that we took so much time off the clock was probably a big factor in the game.
Sure, absolutely. Fourth, it was the last touchdown was just into the fourth quarter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And a 28-yard pass play for him.
Yep. So it was a good feeling.
Upper Sandusky's quarterback, we mentioned Holman. He had a really nice season with 1,587 yards. He was 20 of 36 for 262 yards and 2 touchdowns. That should be a W.
Yeah, he's a very good player. He's just a sophomore too, isn't he, guys? So he's a young guy as well. So we'll probably have a couple more duels with him before it's all said and done.
Let's talk about some of the guys that are leaving us, leaving Bucyrus, graduating seniors. Pfeiffer, Dagger, Jackson, Mike Wise, Brady Rankin, Braxton Lewis, Gavin O'Connell.
Correct.
Isaac Banks, Dylan
Bannister,
Dylan Downing, Emery Metz, and Gabe Higginbotham. I didn't realize you had that much.
Yeah, this is a large class. We got a couple of those guys to come out this year, which was great. They really added a lot to our team, and those guys are going to be missed. Anytime you have a large class, it's hard to kind of move some of the pieces around, but that's the challenge.
24-21 total offense. Bucyrus 400, Upper 363. That was just one heck of a good ball game. It was a fun game.
It was a fun game to play and coach, and I hope that the fans enjoyed it, and it was good to go out with the win.
All right, we've got some young men around the table here, and I hope I can find. Oh, there it is down there. We've got the piece of paper that tells me I got Mason Gebhardt, Javon Gallardo. Close? That's it?
Yeah, perfect.
All right. And Malachi Bayless. And we talk to these guys here in just a moment. Our show brought to you on WQEL Facebook by, we've got more folks here, Lee Plumley and Brad Seibert, the Plumley Insurance Group, Bucyrus and Gallion, Hannah Newton, Wendy's, downtown Bucyrus, Upper Sandusky, North Central State College, Mansfield, the Crawford Success Center, Bucyrus, Vince Ponziani and Associates at Waycraft Industries, Rod Steiger and everybody at Pizza Hut, Bucyrus Gallion, host of our show since 1992, and the Burkhardt family at Burkhardt Farm Sales, your Case IH dealer on the Manette, Winchester Road. And Coach, you introduced these guys to me as seniors. Can he have a phone mic for just 1 second there? Did you pick that up from Doug, or because I know Doug? That's the first time I ever heard that was when he got done. These guys that were really seniors, they're done with me. They're alumni now.
Oh well, these guys are juniors, seniors to be.
Yeah, seniors to be, right?
Yes. They're not.
But you introduced them to me as seniors. So.
Yeah, they're in football we don't take much time off or rest. But as far as the guys that just finished up, they're always part of our program, part of our family. But these guys right here have a big
Seems
role.
to be.
Have a big role. Yes, it's now their team to take over and to lead and to see where we can go.
All right, Mason Gebhardt, it's our first wide receiver and safety. Mason, I know that you guys, when I first talked to you back in August, you guys had some high aspirations. Things didn't work out quite the way they did. Was Friday night any kind of a consolation for you?
In my opinion, yes. Not even just for the fact that it was a win, just as late. I think we ended the season how was best for the seniors in mine.
All right. So, what's your role now? I understand you play basketball, right?
Sadly.
Okay. I understand you're going to get a haircut pretty soon too, right?
Nah.
No. Okay. And let's talk to me a little bit about what happens the rest of this year. Is basketball your only other sport? You got anything in the spring?
I run track in the spring.
You run track in the spring. So what are you going to do to get better for football and lead your team next year?
What I plan on doing is I want to add about 15, 20 pounds of weight just for me because I'm built like a twig. I can't lie. But
yeah, how much you weigh?
130.
130? Yeah, I weighed 130 when I was in the second grade, but enjoy it. But so what are you gonna do in the weight room?
Weight room and just I gotta start eating better and just focus on being healthy.
I'll tell you right now, Pizza Hut's gonna put a dent in that weight right now. As soon as we get done here,
That's
you guys.
all right with me.
Yeah, it's all right with me too. So, good luck with this off season and thanks for coming out. I'm sure you'll be back for basketball. And next we got Javon Gallardo, tight end, defensive end.
Yes, sir.
And how much do you weigh?
Like 200, 195.
Okay, that's not bad. Can you put on a little weight and keep your speed?
Yeah.
Right. And weight room. And
Plan on just putting on speed, getting faster, and putting on some muscle.
all right, and talk to me a little bit. Now you got basketball coming up too.
Yes, I do.
Haircut coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get a haircut. Huh?
Yeah, I don't want to.
You don't want to? That's not that bad. So, listen. Let me go over the same thing we went with Mason here. A little disappointed in the season, but did Friday kind of help make up for a little bit of that?
Yeah, I felt really good, especially in the way we won. How it was like a close game all throughout, and it felt good to send the seniors away with a win like that.
All right, very good. Let me send down to Malachi there. Malachi, a junior quarterback now, and corner on defense, and you've already got your basketball haircut.
I did.
Happened just a few minutes ago, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a fresh haircut. Hell, I didn't recognize you coming in, man. I had no idea. Who's this kid? So talk to me a little bit about, this season. you had some higher aspirations than what actually happened. Was Friday a little bit of a opportunity to say, hey, it wasn't that bad after all?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's how we should have played all season, I believe. We were close with St. Keys until about the third quarter.
Mhm.
I think we definitely had Mohawk, even Northmore. It was 25-0. And though we didn't score, our defense played good. But I think that's how we played all season.
All right. So what are you going to do in the off season besides play basketball? You got some spring sports to do?
I'm debating with myself.
All right. Well, if you're not going to be doing that, you're going to be in the weight room a lot. You know that.
Yeah, trying to get fat. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We're going to have to get fat. Just a little stronger and faster wouldn't be bad either, but you had a nice year. So what are the goals, buddy, for the off season after basketball?
At least 10 pounds. So that's my bare minimum.
All right.
I want to get 10 pounds.
All right, buddy. Good for you. Congratulations on
Thank
your
you.
season. We're going to be back and talk to Coach here in just a minute, wrap things up on the show. And our show is brought to you on WQEL Facebook by Blythe Friedley and Todd McDougal at Friedley and Company, Insurance up in Dutchtown. Ted Coder, Monarch Body Shop in Washington, Ohio State at Marietta, Big Ten Education, close to home. Mike Kleinite, Ag Credit Residential Lending, Bucyrus, Montgilead, Marion. Dr. Thomas Britton at Clubview Vision Center. Luann Krebs, Rivers Edge Embroidery, Screen Printing Signs, the official foam board t-shirt provider right across from the Marion Depot. Coach, let's talk a little bit about what's coming up. Well, first of all, some of the stats that we had here. I wrote some stats down. Malachi, 46%, 1,405 yards, 10 touchdowns. That's a nice season, but I think he can do better.
Oh yeah. I think he would say it himself that he could do better. I think he expected a little bit more this year, and we just got to get back at it and work hard and improve for next year.
How do you replace Eddie Dager?
That'll be tough. Eddie surprised us a little bit. We knew he had it in him, but we have some young guys with some speed, and then someone like Randy and Mason will have a much larger role next year in the offense and may get a few carries as well.
All right. Can't redshirt it,
No.
Receiving, that's one of the things we talked about. Brady Jackson, 549 yards, a whole bunch of it last week 10, 5 touchdowns. Braxton Lewis, 239 yards. Mike Wise, 213 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Mason Gebhardt, 137 yards. Randy Banks, a touchdown. Javon Gallardo with a touchdown and 84 yards. And you got a lot of receivers. You're going to have a lot of these guys.
Yeah, half those guys will be back, and there's a couple younger guys that will be fighting for some time, and it really comes down. They all can catch the ball. It all depends on whether they block and do the other things and work to get better. Catching the ball is really kind of the easy part. It's doing all the other work that it takes to be a receiver and a team player.
All right. Are kids walking the halls or are we playing football?
There are a few. I don't know that there's as many as many people think, but there are a handful that we need to try to get out.
All right, very good. Coach, it's been a pleasure talking to you this year. Congratulations on Friday night, and we'll look forward to next August, okay?
All right, great.
All right.
Thank you.
Tim Plumley, Bucyrus and Redmond. We got the Winford Royals coming up in just one moment. We'll be back in just a very few minutes from right now.